Yeah, I really do. It's not quite there at the moment, but I've also been in England. I live in England, so I see what it's like over there as well. And they've not really got ready for the Euros yet. Maybe because they were waiting to see who their manager was going to be, but it hasn't really started. We've over, there's still a few weeks to go before the start of it. And I think as it builds up and we get closer to the games, that then everyone will start to really think about the matches that have got coming up. Yeah, there's no doubt that there will be a feel-good factor in Ireland. We've waited 10 years to get into a major tournament again, and I think the fans will come out and really support the team over the 3 games. But it's hugely important that we got off to a good start in the first game against Croatia. That's the most important one, because if we get a result in that game, then the belief will be there from the fans and from the players to take into the remaining 2 fixtures. And as long as the third game against Italy, there's still something riding on it that we can qualify, then it will be good for the team, it will be good for the country. Well, it's not always the case. I mean, there are times, I've got to be honest with you, in 1990 where, you got to remember back in the day then, I mean, there was no internet, there was no DVDs. So, really, you had to make things up as you were going along. When you were sitting in your hotel room, and there was particularly in Italy, there was no English speaking TV. I mean, what you watched was the Italian TV, and none of us knew what was going on. So, but there wasn't a great deal to do. We were desperate to watch matches or to go training. But the lads would play cards, or we'd sit downstairs and we would have a laugh and a joke. I mean, that was one of the things. When you go away for a month, you can't have little groups, because you have to have a mix. You have to have everyone getting in together. And many occasions, you would just walk around the corridors, knock on someone's door, and just go in for a chat. And it didn't matter which room you went into, you knew you could sit there for an hour or so, while away the time, have a laugh and a joke, and then you'd move on to another room. That's what all the players did. So a great mix in that way, and you have to be able to do that. Different with the players today, because you've all got their iPads with them. They've got can listen to the music or whatever it may be. There's a lot more things for them to do. But I still think with the Irish boys, there'll be a great mix that way, where they get on extremely well. And when you're away for any length of time, you need that. You need that bond, that camaraderie, to get on and get through the tournament. Well, I'd have to say though, you say about the Spanish, Real Madrid and Barcelona, but they must be doing something right, because they've gone away to the last World Cup and won it, and the European champions before that and won it. So they must be doing something right. And I do believe with the what I've heard with the Spanish, they do get on very well together, regardless if you come from, as you say, Barcelona or Real Madrid. They do seem to collect together and really have a focus about winning. But it's just about the Irish mentality. It's just this. It doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter same thing if you come from Dublin, if you come from Donegal. It doesn't matter where you come from. What's the focal point is you're there to represent your country. As I said, come back to, we might not have the superstars as far as when it comes to big name players, but it's about the collective unit. That's the most important thing. And it doesn't matter who the 11 are. We've got 23 players representing the country. They'll all go out there, and whoever the 11 is, they'll all wish the 11 all the best going into the games. And I think that's hugely important. No, I'm usually excited just to see the lads play. I mean, unfortunately, I won't be doing the games. I've got the Holland and Germany group in Portugal, which I'm looking forward to. And maybe if we get the quarterfinals, I'll pick them up there and hopefully do a game then. But it is, when you go away, I think that's one of the things. How would we have done? How would the Irish team done at these big tournaments? Could we have qualified? Could we get through the group stages? And we don't really know, because we've not been there for such a long time. But I think now, with the group that they've got, and because it's such an exciting group as well, last 2 winners of the World Cup, Spain and Italy, that's what's in Ireland's group. And if you come through that, it is an achievement. It's a sense of achievement from the players. So I'm really looking forward to the games. I think what Mr. Trapattoni's brought to the Irish players at the moment is a winning mentality. I think it's something that we lost for a while. We lost that knack of winning games, or that winning feeling. We were finishing third as in group, fourth in group. We weren't getting close to the playoffs or actually qualifying automatically. And I think he's brought that back, and you can see that in the players the way that they walk, the way that they talk, the way that they're playing now. There's a genuine belief that regardless who they play, they can win. And I think we lost that for a spell. I think it's certainly back now, and that was proven when we went. Oh no, it was only friendly against Italy last June, but the players went, played against them, beat them, and now they're not afraid of them. There's no fear factor when they play these teams anymore. Very good question. I mean, if we get through the group, in all honesty, that is a major achievement. We've got to accept that. I mean, this is as tough a group as any, I think, of the four that are there. So you have to be at your very best from the first game. And if we can get through here, then I hope the lads believe in themselves, that they can go as far as they can. Because having spoken to a lot of my colleagues from years gone by, we look back to 88 and 90, and I think that the sense we get that is we didn't believe. It was nice to get through the group. It was nice to get the quarterfinals. But you know what? Could we have really done a lot better? I think we could have done. But we didn't have that belief. We lacked the belief that we were good enough, or actually felt that we were part that going to these big tournaments. That when you think of England are there every 2 years for these tournaments, Germany are there, France are there. Ireland weren't. It was as if we were gate crashing the party. And it was only by '94 that maybe we felt that we deserved to be there, and we just didn't have the squad to do it. We were just too old at the time. There wasn't enough youngsters coming through. I hope if the lads get through this group, that they believe in themselves, that they can do what Greece did, and maybe go all the way. That's one thing I would say to all the players. Have no regrets. There's a lot of players in the squad. This might be the last tournament. For the likes of Shea, for Richard, for Robbie. Who knows? If they're going to be around for the World Cup in 2 years' time. This is their time. They've got to go out and make sure they give it 100%, get themselves into the best shape that they can. Make sure they're leaders on the pitch, make sure they're leaders in the changing room, and around the squad in general. And just reiterate to all of them, lads, this is it. We might not have. It might be another 10 years before we get it. This might be all our last chance to show the public what we're about. Make sure we come off after the 3 games saying to ourselves, if only we'd done this, and what happened if we tried that. This is about the here and now and what you can achieve. Yeah, I mean, it's your point of view, and that's what you're. Sometimes you've got to be critical, and not all the players today like that, and certainly when I was a player and you had players, pundits writing about you, you think, oh, hang on a minute, I'm not quite sure about that, but that's your job. You're there to give your opinion, and listen, we'd all like to write good stories and happy stories about how well that we're doing, but it is difficult. But it is just that, it's your opinion, and I feel very strongly about football. I've got my opinions on it and how the game should be played, and when if I see players trying to do the right things, I'll write very positively about that. But if I see players that are passing the buck and not trying to do things, then I'll come out and be critical about it. But it's great, just being involved in football. You can never get your playing career back; that's gone. But the next best thing is to be still involved in it, and I still feel very much involved with football. And writing for the Star, I feel very much part of it as well. I'm now in the media, that's part of my gig. I very much enjoy working with the people at the Star that gave you license to say what you want.